Hi guys, it's Sarah again. So it's been a little bit since I posted last. The last time that I posted was about my story about my, breakup, essentially. So yeah, it's been a really hard, 5 weeks? Yeah, 5 weeks. Um, but I'm doing way better now. I do look a little tired. I didn't get very good sleep last night. So, um, but anyway, well, pretty much I was living with some friends and then they left. One of them I didn't want here anymore because they were just essentially trashing my apartment, and I didn't like that, and I didn't think they were gonna pass, have an income in my house and everything. So I've just been living by myself for about 3 or so weeks. That's my cat in the background. She's playing in the box. I just got Amazon order. Anyway, so a big thing that happened was last week. As you guys probably know, I have a restraining order on my ex, and if you didn't, I do. I got it the next day. But last week he drove his mom's car to my house. Essentially, he was getting her something to eat, and he thought, oh, I'm just going to go to Sarah's apartment, thinking he still lives here. I opened the door because I thought it was the USPS coming to pick up my heart monitor box. And so the one time I didn't look through my people, I opened the door, and he's standing there. And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? Like, I was so mad. And so obviously me and him cannot have a civil conversation. So I'm just standing there yelling at him, telling him to get out. He tries walking into my apartment, thinking he still lives here because his stuff's in here. And essentially, after he got that 20-minute move out, he can't have the rest of his things. His family can't come get it. Essentially, it's mine. The bed is mine. The TVs are mine. Pretty much all his stuff is mine. So he just walks up in here, or tries to walk in here. I stopped him, of course. But then he's standing out there and he's like just saying a bunch of random stuff. Saying he's gonna hurt himself. Saying that, his mom is making him do this and that and this and that. And then he keeps, for a long time, he would say that he was gonna be homeless if he left here, which is not true at all. He just thinks that because he didn't want to go back to his parents' house. Well, now that he's at his parents' house, he don't like that. And I knew he wouldn't. So he was saying all that stuff. And eventually, the neighbor came out and she said, I think you need to leave, because she heard me say, I have a restraining order on you and stuff. And she opens the door and she said, looks at him, looks at me, and then looks at him again and said, you need to leave. So after that, he left. And essentially, I called the cops as he was at the door too. Because I told him I'm calling the cops. I was like, there's cameras, you're violating the order. And he didn't care, essentially. And I kind of figured he wouldn't. I figured he would try to come back here, try to live here when he has no job, no money, and I have a co-signer that's helping me pay some of my bills because, I don't have anyone else here with more income because I'm on Social Security and I can't go to work. So he just thinks that, he still lives here, trying to walk in here, and so the neighbor tells him to leave, and of course he ain't gonna listen to me. But when she told him to leave, the neighbor, he left. And I was like, are you serious? Like, that shows just how much he was not listening to me. So, called the cops. Cops showed up about 10 minutes later. I opened the door after I looked at the peephole that time. And I said, I opened the door and I said, he left. Because I knew they were there to try and catch him and arrest him because he's not supposed to be around me. He's not even supposed to be on my property. Well, my apartment property. I don't own it. But, my rental property. Because he's been off the lease for, I think at least 3 weeks or so. legally, because I had the restraining order, and it did take a good week or so for her to get the manager to get him off the lease, but he's already off the lease. So then I explained to him what happened, and then he's like, well, do you know of any idea where he'd be staying? And I said, well, I tried to give him the description of the car, what he was wearing, and I guess I guessed the license plate wrong, because he was trying to contact his coworkers, and I heard his radio go off talking about how they can't track that license plate, like it's not valid. And I'm like, oh crap, okay. Well, I knew he was driving his mom's car, essentially. So the cop asked for, more information, and I told him his parents' address, because that, I kind of assumed he was staying there. And this is after he's been stalking my TikTok too, so he has not been really leaving me alone ever since the incident. So I gave him his parents' address, and I said, well, you guys probably could go catch him there. And then I told him, I said, there's cameras all around here, so if you go to the manager, she'll give you the footage. And he said, okay. So he knocked on the neighbor's door, took a statement from her of what she witnessed. And then he went to the manager, apartment manager, because I called her to let her know what's going on. She said, yeah, I just gave the cop the footage. And I said, oh, okay. So she knew what was going on, because she has, like, surveillance in the office. So then the cop leaves. They don't do anything for a few days. I'm kind of mad, because I checked this thing called VINELink, and it's a thing for victims where you can check if they're in custody or, anything like that. And for, like, a few days after that, it wasn't coming up on, his name wasn't coming up. It said no inmates found or whatever. And so I'd say I was checking till probably about Friday. On the 23rd is the date I'm talking about, which was last Friday. So I looked, and I was just like, I'm going to check again. So I check, and I'm just sitting here randomly thinking, like, I'm going to check this again. So I went on VineLink.com. I also have the app, by the way. They have an app. And his name was on there. And I was like, no kidding. And so the first arrest, they still had him on there from August. So it said that he was released. But then I looked at the bottom, and it said more info, and I clicked on that. And it said the 23rd that he was in jail. Now, usually VineLink, they'll give you like an option to get notified if he's being released. But with this thing, I guess since he violated a restraining order, that they don't have any bail on him or anything like that. So I was just like, oh my God, like my heart just dropped, literally. Like it dropped so fast. And I was just like, my heart dropped, like, not like, I'm upset. I was more happy because I was upset they weren't going to arrest him when he clearly violated the order. So the fact that I saw his name on there, and I was like, wow. Finally went and got him. And I'm glad, because I feel like nobody was listening to me, and I was getting very upset. So, because I didn't want him showing up my door again. He has a license. He shouldn't have a license. He shouldn't even have keys, nonetheless. So, yeah, he's been sitting in jail since Friday. And so the court date that he had set was this morning. And I learned that court date in August. And I don't know the outcome of the court date, because I had an option of going to the court date, but since he showed up on Friday, my case manager was like, yeah, you probably should not go to that court date now, because I don't think you want to see him in court. And I said, no. And I said, well, there's apartment footage on the video camera. There's, I submitted the picture of the mark that the can left me when he threw it at my shoulder. It was this shoulder. It's healed now. It's all healed since the last time I did a video, but Um, yeah, so, and there's dozens of police reports. So, Ray, when I called the DA, he's getting one count of harassment misdemeanor. But since he violated the restraining order, now violating a restraining order in Oregon, you get 6 months in jail or a $500 fine or both, essentially. So he probably is going to be in jail for 6 months. He has no job. He has no other income except for his parents have money, but I don't even think he can be bailed out at this point. So, yeah, he's been sitting in jail since like about Friday. Now, like I said, I don't know the outcome. I don't know the outcome of the court date today, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't think he's gonna be released anytime soon, but with that picture, he may get like a year or two for like assault. And yeah, it's pretty crazy right now. So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys an update. I'll let you know if there's anything else. But yeah, thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys another time. Bye.